And action. What's up guys, it's Ben with Velit, and today we're going to be covering the EF air code on our 2000R rooftop models. We're going to show you how to diagnose and troubleshoot it and what things to check and which components may need to be replaced. So there's actually two different styles of fans, and depending on when you purchased your unit, you may have one or the other, but we're going to cover both in this one. All of our early model units from like 2022 and 2023 last summer had a brushed motor. The wiring's just a little bit different. And then around January 1st of this year, 2024, we actually upgraded to a brushless fan motor that the wiring and diagnostic steps for this is a little bit different. But like I said, we're going to cover both in this video. To start things off, let's go ahead and take a look at the older style brushed fan motor. The first thing we're going to check is the wiring connections on the back side of the control panel. So we'll go ahead and pop this out of place using a putty knife. On the back side of the control panel, you're going to find a 2-pin wiring connector with a black and red wire. This is what sends power to the fan. Note that on the back side, the pins are exposed so they can easily be probed with a multimeter to check for voltage. So I've got my multimeter zip tied up here so you can see it, and I'm going to go ahead and back probe this connector. The voltage coming out of this is going to vary depending on what fan speed it's set to. This is on high. You're going to see the voltage jump up to roughly 12 volts. And then you can see as I turn the fan speed down, the voltage will also decrease. While performing this test, if you don't get any voltage reading at these pins, it's likely a faulty control panel and you'll need to replace the entire board. If you do have voltage here, we're going to have to go up top and take a look at the fuse that's in line along these wires. All right guys, I went ahead and removed the top cover. It's just held on with a handful of screws around the outside perimeter. Once you've got that off, next thing we're going to do is remove this styrofoam cover. It's just secured in place with 2 angle brackets, one on the front, one on the back. Each angle bracket is secured with 3 Phillips head screws. All right, now that we've got the styrofoam removed, you can see the blower motor fan is right here. It's got an inline fuse right here next to the motor. So you can go ahead and pull that out and just visually check it and make sure that it's good. On these older fans, the terminals are actually exposed on the back side here. So you can take your multimeter and probe these and then turn the fan on and just confirm that you've got voltage all the way up to the fan. It's only going to supply voltage until the EF code is thrown. Once the EF code is thrown, the voltage will be cut off, so you'll need to check it fairly quickly. If you do find that you have voltage all the way to the fan and it's still not working, it's likely just a bad blower motor and you'll have to replace the entire assembly. You can simply unplug the wiring connectors, and then there's a few Phillips head screws around the outside holding the fan in place. All right guys, let's move on and have a look at the newer brushless style fans. Like I said, if you got your unit anytime after around January 1st of this year, 2024, you're more than likely going to have a brushless fan. So I went ahead and popped the control panel out of this one, and what you're going to notice that's different compared to the older model one is the 2-pin connector is missing, and instead there's a 4-pin connector. So you've got a red and a black wire. This should be supplying just steady 12 volts all the time to the fan as long as there's power hooked up to the unit. It could not even be on, and there should still be voltage to these 2 pins. And then the blue and the white wire are the signal wires, and this is going to vary anywhere from 0.5 volts up to like 2 volts. That's what actually controls the speed of the fan. So now I've got my multimeter turned on. I'm going to go ahead and back probe the red and the black wires here just to check for voltage. You can see I've got 14.3, so that's good. Now I'm going to go ahead and back probe the blue and the white wire. We're going to go ahead and fire this thing up and watch the voltage and see what happens here. Now it's starting to go 0.5 volts, 1 volt, and it's slowly increasing as the fan speed is increasing. So this one is working just fine, you can see. So if all your voltage readings are good at this 4-pin connector, then it's gonna be the fan motor up top. There is no inline fuse on this one. All right, I went ahead and got the styrofoam cover pulled off of this one. It's exactly the same as the other one. You've just got your 2 angle brackets and screws holding it in. The only difference between this fan and the old one, as far as how it's assembled up here, is there is no inline fuse or connector. So if you do end up having to switch this fan out, you will have to unscrew a few cable connectors and fish this wire out from down inside the airbox where it plugs into the control panel. And then again, it's held in the same way as the other one with just a few screws around the outside. And here I'll give you a better look of the wiring. It's held in place with these cable clamps, and it simply runs around and is zip tied and then goes down inside the unit to the control panel where it plugs in. So you will have to reroute this wiring if you end up replacing one of the brushless fans, because again, there's no connector up top to be unplugged. So really the only two components that can fail are the actual circuit board itself or the fan motor. Whereas the old style one, you have the circuit board, the fan motor, or it could be that inline fuse that popped. All right guys, I think that about wraps it up for this video. Thanks for watching. All these parts are available if you need them. You can reach out to our customer support team by just shooting an email to support@velitcamping.com and they'll get you helped. Goodbye.